Okay, we're good.
Okay. Welcome to the Mexico Beach Planning and Zoning meeting for Monday, October 5th, 2020. We have an agenda before us, and could you call the roll, please?
Sure. Mr. Driver?
Here.
Mr. Carrigan?
Here.
Miss Lindsay?
Here.
Miss Miller? Here. Mr. Hogan?
Here.
Mr. Bush?
Okay, first thing on the agenda are the minutes. I don't know whether anybody's had a chance to look at them. I've looked at them, they look good, but I'll pass them around if you haven't had a chance, and then we'll get those signed. Everybody's okay at the end of the meeting, if you don't mind.
We've got them here, so we don't need to pass them.
Okay, great. I'll look at them. Does anybody have any problems with the minutes? We can knock it out now.
The only thing I seen is that I wasn't on the, September 14th, and that was my first meeting.
Oh, it was, okay. I can
Okay.
take care of that. I'll omit that from the record.
Mario, did you have anything on the minutes? You had your marker up, so. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes with the motion correction?
Minutes with the one correction.
With the one correction.
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'd like to open the public hearing of the minor replat for 111 38th Street, CD, and 113 38th Street, Unit A. Do we have anybody here in the audience to represent the properties? Great. Could you give us an overview of what you're asking for and why?
Okay, this is not my property, it belongs to my friends. I live on 38, they asked me to come here on behalf of them. They want to put the, 3 townhome lots into one lot and build a single family home.
Okay. And do we have a survey in the package? Yes, we do. So rather than what we usually see where it's 2 or 3 units from one street address, it's actually 2 units from one address and 1 unit from another address, is that correct?
Yeah, there are 3 units, 3 lots of,
Three
In a row.
together,
yeah.
but 2 were from one and 1 from the other.
Oh, you're talking about the original plats. Yeah, they subdivided the original plat.
Yeah, I was just going by the addresses. So, Gina's not here.
Gina said she would call in, so if we needed her.
Okay.
Maybe I can answer the question, or do you want me to call it?
No, that's fine, I think we can work through it. So 3 into 1, and once we get the 1,
Oh, the call that I ignored earlier was Gina trying to call.
aha, you're gonna be in the doghouse for sure now.
Uh,
Well, let's get her on here. Thanks, Mario.
Hey there, I was wondering who was so rudely trying to call me during the meeting, and then since I lost my, the phone book on my, phone, so all I get is these random calls from numbers that I don't know who they belong to, so. Welcome to the meeting, Gina, thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Gina, this is Bill, we're on the, replat, and wanted to kind of get we have a representative here for the property, but we want to kind of get your spin on it, is there anything different about this? We're meeting setbacks and those kinds of things?
Yeah, they're just trying to combine those 3 previously townhome parcels into one in order to build a single family home and meet setbacks. So it'll reduce the density of that property from 3 down to 1.
Okay. And we're meeting the 7.5 and the 7.5 and the 20 and the 10?
Correct.
Okay. One question that's come up, I had 2 emails from real estate professionals in town, and they were concerned about exceeding the 50% density that's typical for a single-family structure in that area. And that isn't something I don't think that we've talked about before. We're certainly improving the aspect of going from 3 to 1, but is it fair to the neighbor if this is exceeding the 50% high density for HDR of impervious and impervious situation? I don't know whether it does or doesn't. I didn't do the calculation, so have you given that any thought, or have you heard from anybody about that?
As far as the impervious area, I don't know. I mean, they haven't submitted a preliminary site plan or anything to go off of. So this is just strictly combining the lots. But they will have to meet whatever the regulations are in place in the area at the time. So right now, that's high density residential, which would be 50%.
Okay. All right. Mario, anything from your perspective, positive or negative, or?
Well, again, when you take 3 lots and you put 1 home on 3 lots, you're reducing the density. Chances are you'll probably reduce the impervious area. It's a win as far as the city's concerned, based on density, based on impervious, based on impact, based on traffic. So I find it hard to say anything negative.
Okay, appreciate it. Anybody else on the board have any comments? I guess anybody, first of all, anybody else from the audience have any comments? We have somewhat of a formal process, so we kind of have to close the public and open the board. Did you have anything else you want to say?
No, I don't think so. I think they're aware of the impervious rules and the setbacks.
Okay.
Can I take your name for the record?
Patty Swearingen.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Okay, I'll close the public portion of the meeting and open up the board portion. Jack, did you have something to, you good?
It sounds consistent with Mexico Beach's objectives of reducing density.
Okay. All right, anybody else?
Yeah, I think we've done it before, combined them, and we see any reason why not this one. And I agree with Jack, it does reduce the density and it makes sense.
Okay.
I would prefer to have single homes and a bunch of little bitty
Mhm.
townhomes.
Right.
Well, and I think it will definitely address the impervious situation, because they're gonna have plenty of room to build and keep the setbacks and do all those things.
Okay.
I actually drove down the road and looked at it, and the clusters of townhomes in the surrounding area tend to be more beachfront, and the homes that are around this are single-family homes, so it seems like it would make it more like
Fits in
surrounding.
better.
So,
even.
better
Okay.
continuity
Mhm.
within the neighborhood, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, close that portion. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the minor replat on 38th Street.
Okay,
I'll second.
second.
Mr. Driver?
Yes.
Mr. Carrigan?
Yes.
Ms. Lindsay?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you very
And
much.
you understand we're advisory and the council votes on it next. When the next council meeting is,
It's the 13th,
Okay,
so
a week from tomorrow.
okay,
would recommend either you or somebody from the group attend that meeting if at all possible.
okay. All right.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Thank you. Okay, next we have a public hearing on ordinance 755. Mario, can you get us back up to speed on our townhome district zoning and what we're doing here?
Gina has made an effort of going back, I think, 30 years and looking at the zoning maps. It was one of the questions that came up last time. She has found some places where there are some discrepancies, and we're hopeful to have an updated map here in the not too distant future. So she is working on that. We did remove the condos that were shown in the map. We did remove some lots that were actually 30 feet wide that were over here on 31st Street. So based on the map that I showed you last go around, we removed townhomes on 42nd. We removed some larger parcels that were on 35th. We removed condos on 32nd, and we removed some larger parcels on 31st. And we removed some larger parcels that were on 98 just off of 20th Street. So those were the things that we removed. We did remove the language that said single family attached, and we removed the language that said, the complete language that said multifamily attached. Again, with the premise that a 15-foot wide lot would be kind of hard to do multifamily on it. Again, density type issues, traffic type issues. But then we also took out the word attached so that home could be built exactly like what this young lady just presented, which is to take 3 lots and put a single family home in there that is detached from other homes. Again, it's reducing the density. The townhome zoning is the highest density you can have. It doesn't keep you from doing lower density. So it doesn't mean that you have to do townhomes. It means that's the most dense you can do. So you can build single family detached within townhomes. You can combine 2 lots and build a single family house that spans the whole thing. Or you can build a single family house that if you have enough space, you can put a 7.5 foot setback all around it. Or you can build a single family house that is, just 15 feet wide in the middle and give yourself more space. The townhome density allows you a 0 lot line. It doesn't force you to have a 0 lot line. It allows you to get that close to your property lines. If you want to combine 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lots and have a larger home in the middle of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lot, it allows you to do that. Again, think of the zoning as the maximum density and the least setback that you can have. You can go above and beyond that.
Okay. In the comments that I got on the email, one of the individuals was concerned about why we were excluding condominiums and duplexes
Okay.
from.
Condominiums are not included because condominiums are a completely different step from zoning. You can do a condo in commercial, you can do a condo at high density residential, you can do a condo in townhomes. But I think you have to go to the state to file condo regulations.
Yeah.
You're just putting it all together. On the condos that were existing, and again, the reason we took them out of this map is when you look at the condos that existed on 42nd, the condos that existed on 32nd, those 2 condos have common area, and they have a building, and that building has a 0 lot line. I mean, those buildings can be built side by side, they can be stacked, they can be built as more touching each other in different ways. That's a condo that has regulations, it has common ground, it has all those things. It has nothing to do with townhome 0 lot line from property to property. In a condominium, you have to follow the setbacks from whatever the zoning has. So if somebody wanted to buy 10 of these townhome parcels, put together covenants and restrictions and create a condo, you can do that. In order to do that, you have to come to the city and get it approved to become a condo. So it's a separate process, but the parcel on 42nd and the parcel on 32nd do not need to be in the townhome district to build back, because they're already a commonly owned parcel and have, you know, the ability to build back what they had before. Now, again, the reason we created the townhome district was for people to be able to build back what they had before. So those condos can be built back the way that they were before.
So there's no reason the condos couldn't be built back as townhomes?
They can be built back to whatever rules and regs they had in the past.
So can someone take a condominium section and put townhomes on
Okay. And this is why I brought the drawing, is because it's extremely confusing. So, this is a parent parcel.
it? This is to scale, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I
This is
saw
a-
him measure.
This is a parent parcel, and you'll look at some condos that look like this. And somebody just owns that piece, another person owns that piece of that. Each individual piece gets sold, but this is all common area. I mean, the condo that I own, I'm one of 125 units with common area. If somebody bought a condo and it was built as a quadruplex, I need a paper towel. So if somebody comes in and buys, and I think this is one of the drawings that's over there, is it's shaped like a townhome, so they think it's a townhome. It's not a townhome. This is a condominium because this is, again, the key is common area. Townhomes don't have common area. Townhomes, you own every bit of your land, you control every bit of your destiny. In a condominium association, you own the airspace between those 4 points, and that's it.
But if I bought all four of those, could I make them townhomes?
If you bought all four of these, you could build that back, you could build that back, you could build that back, you could build that back. You could build a single family home on it. You could do lots of things, but you have the rights to build 4 units as a condominium in any configuration. Again, keep in mind, that condo does 7.5 feet, 7.5 feet, 7.5 feet. It follows all the guidelines for its parcel.
So would they need a variance to
No.
make it a single family home?
No,
No.
Okay.
yeah,
So
this
this is the highest use
this is high density
of a
residential.
property, and then
Yeah.
if they wanna do something less, it's just like the situation that we talked about. They can
Yeah.
do that with the change. Okay. Because I think a lot of those condos will be built back as townhomes, perhaps, we'll see.
The good thing is they don't
You
have
keep
to have.
saying that they are gonna go back as townhomes, they don't have the ability to go back as townhomes. They were never townhomes in the first place, they were condominiums. They were,
Right, but
have you ever seen those condos that look like a single family house?
But they're all done. It's a blank piece, it's a blank slate, so that's my question.
Yeah, but
Can somebody take that blank slate and make it a single family or
yes,
several townhomes?
If
And it
some-
sounds like they can.
if somebody buys that condo, that condo, that condo,
Right,
and that condo,
Right. the whole
they can
thing.
do whatever they want with this parcel.
That's my question.
Mhm.
Okay.
Including townhomes, right?
Yes.
They never, keep in mind, we created the townhome district to replace townhomes. These were not townhomes, these were condominiums. They can go back as condominiums, or they can go back as a single family house.
So they can't have you couldn't draw a line here and have even a 0.
You could not do this. You could not build 4 separate homes. If it was a condo and it had common area, it's gonna have to be built back as a condo, or somebody can buy the whole thing and then subdivide it up into 2 lots, or come over here and ask for a townhome district.
Right, well, that's where I'm headed.
But we didn't really create the townhome district to add to the townhome district. We created the townhome district to fill the hole that was was created by the townhome district. That's why I keep thinking that if it was a condo, it has the right to go back as a condo the way that it was, or it has the right to go back at a lesser impact like a single-family home.
Because we don't want to encourage more of the townhomes that were existing without having
Correct.
those kinds of setbacks and impermeable surface and parking and all those things.
Unless it's a truly a planned effort. I
Yeah.
mean, where it's a planned effort, where the St. Joe Company is doing
Right.
it in an isolated location, they're creating everything for it, that makes sense. And again, keep in mind, when this was built in the eighties, it was a single developer that built all those.
Right.
And I'm sure they went through a process to get that approved. Has that history, but
Right. So what about duplexes, to carry that thought further?
keep in mind, most of your parcels within Mexico Beach that are high-density residential, that's the right term.
I think it is.
Yeah,
We
that's
can
right.
have- we can build-
All of your property that is tourist residential has the ability to have a duplex on it.
Duplex or triplex, right?
Yeah,
Just do-
I thought you were allowed 2 units per parcel.
Okay,
Keep in mind, a lot of the meetings that we have here, that
Right.
people wanna split a lot, and they keep saying, I can build a duplex there, so if I can build a duplex, why not let me split it so that I can build 2 single-family homes? That is their argument for it.
right.
The city's plans allow for a duplex on that parcel. You can build a duplex. You can't sell a duplex into 2 pieces
Okay.
unless they
We
do
approve.
what you guys are either approving or denying, and the council approves or denies.
All right.
Am I completely right or partially wrong?
Gina?
She fell asleep.
Am I at least close to right?
Yes, yeah, there are many of these high-density residential parcels that are large enough to support a duplex, density-wise.
Yeah. And on the condominiums that were existing, again, condominiums have a common area, and they can be built back just like they were before, or, again, they can come back with a plan that doesn't increase their density, that still has common area, and just go through the process as long as they meet their setbacks. Is that not correct?
That's correct, yeah, and we have a couple of them that are doing that, and, you know, we have a couple situations where one unit owner bought out another one, so there used to be 4, now there's 2 unit owners, but they're still condo.
Yep.
They changed their documents a little bit, but they're still condo.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's helpful. No, it is, and that's part of what we're here to learn too, so it's good to walk through some of this stuff.
Us talking through
We have
this,
some time.
let somebody that's on the computer watching it maybe understand, you know, what you all are going through, so.
Yeah, good. Okay. So, we don't have all the properties nailed down.
We do have the properties nailed down, what we don't have is the latest and greatest conglomeration of all of the correct zoning areas, which is irrelevant to what we're doing right now. I mean, what Gina noticed not too long ago was there's a parcel over here on 38th Street that clearly shows up as a condo. And to my understanding from what she's told me is it should be, I think, tourist commercial, because it used to be a hotel. And somehow or another, it went back to tourist residential, and it shouldn't have been that way. So there are a couple of changes like that. I think there's some stuff on Miramar that changes, but it's irrelevant from the townhome. These are fixes that we have on our zoning map.
Okay.
Is that relatively correct, Gina?
Yes.
So,
I'm not gonna push my luck, I don't wanna be right more than twice.
so, do we need to unequivocally approve this? Is that what you're asking us to do? Because last time we didn't give full and complete approval.
Right, we asked
Correct.
for
Are
a
we-
relook at the properties to identify anything that might be out of character.
And
So, but.
Gina, do you wanna recommend any other properties to add or subtract from what I mentioned to them earlier?
Well, you know, that's kind of hard. I've been in conversations with Nick about it. There's about 36 properties that I can't find any evidence of them changing from tourist commercial to tourist residential ever. But yet they are showing up as tourist residential. So those properties may need to be removed from the list of properties that are going now to townhome district, because if they're tourist residential, if they're tourist commercial, they don't need to go to the townhome district. They need to stay in tourist commercial.
And tourist commercial gives you more rights than townhomes.
Correct. So.
We're already being more restrictive.
They'll change, but, it would be removing properties and not adding properties.
And the properties that we remove will have more rights than what we're giving.
Correct.
So in an effort to bring this to a conclusion,
Uh-huh.
I would hope that y'all would give me an affirmative or a non-affirmative in one way or another so that I can bring this to the city council, for the meeting on October the 27th, where hopefully we can adopt.
Okay, so just to clarify, what we would be approving is simply the language in the ordinance. And what happens with these issues that have been brought up tonight have to do with just simply straightening out the map.
Yep.
Because the map is not correctly done, but it doesn't have anything to do with any kind of changes to the ordinance. So we could approve the language of this ordinance unequivocally, and then we're done with it.
You could be good with the language, and
And
then
then-
if you will acknowledge the map
Okay,
and say that what we've added to the map is consistent with where there were townhomes,
okay,
and if the map changes and it takes it from townhome to tourist commercial, which gives them even more rights,
okay,
it's a net wash.
okay. So I move that we accept the language of the ordinance with the understanding that adjustments could be made in the map itself to correct some of the discrepancies. So that's what I move.
Second?
Mr. Driver,
Yes.
Mr. Kerrigan,
Yes.
Ms. Lindsay,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Bowley,
Yes.
Okay. Moving on up the ladder. Thank you, Mario. I know you put a lot of work into that. And Gina, thank you too. I know you both diligently trying to get this across the finish line so we can help our folks rebuild and make it easier on them. The next thing in the packet, I think, is the comp plan discussion. And I don't feel comfortable addressing that without Jim here, since he's the one that kind of led the charge. I did listen to the council meeting that he went and spoke at, and I thought he represented ourselves pretty well. And it sounds like that they approved us going back and looking at this and then coming back to them with a recommendation. Is that your thought, Mario?
I believe so, yes.
You and your community. So, I think what we'll do is, it's not on the agenda, but, we'll table that and have Jim walk us through. And I think where we're gonna be is we're gonna end up probably adding language to the comp plan and then giving that to the council, for their approval, and then to the state, and then back and stuff like that. I think the and jump in on this, I think the gap is, there was language that we had kind of set up based on community input. Then there was language that was done, after the flood, and I think we just need to merge those a little bit and get something that, really says exactly what we want to say in the comp plan, and I think it's probably no more than a paragraph, to add in there, so, once we get that cleared up, we'll work on that.
Sounds good.
Okay, does anybody have any miscellaneous we need to talk about, or?
Question, we had the special meeting about the store, and it moved on to the city council. Where does that stand now?
It was approved.
What about the, beachfront lot duplex, available for a duplex, and they wanted to divide, and
Not approved.
council not approved, okay. It's good to kind of know what that feedback is, appreciate that.
Sure.
Okay. All right, anything administrative wise?
No, I don't have anything.
Do we just need to stay here, so everybody has to stay here longer, or? Should
You
we
can,
have-
you can,
Move to adjourn?
anytime you're ready to go.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gina. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Gina. Oh, we didn't do the
Well,
minutes.
is there gonna be a voting site here?
Uh,
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we did them up right then, yes, we did them up